bits for everyone. Sorry about the delay. We have Renee from the side bet. We actually have Jacob here,
What's up, guys?
and we are going to give you the fantasy football advice to the best of our ability. So let's start. Quarterback position. All right. So top guys up here. Is there anyone you guys really want to talk about? I mean, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, a rookie. I mean, is there anyone that you guys disagree with? Say the top five that you would rank lower?
I mean, this week I like all these guys. I think kind of the game script could go in Dak Prescott's favor this week. I think Detroit's going to score a lot of points in that game. That's the highest over/under of the week, as Lucas pointed out in our video this week. So I do like him to potentially outperform on that one.
All right. Nah, I definitely agree. Renee, what are you thinking?
No, same thing. Dak Prescott is lined up to have a great game, in my opinion. And that's because the Dallas defense will give up a lot of points today. So it will be a shootout. I do like Joe Burrow. He is hot right now. He does not turn the ball over much. So for fantasy football wise, big to have on your team. You do not want points taken away. Your defenses do that enough for you. So.
Exactly. In the next little group through the top 10, I'm actually going to highlight Kyler Murray here. I had someone reach out to me this week and actually say they were dropping Kyler Murray because, they're like, I can't put up with the inconsistency. I mean, he's quarterback number 7, exactly where they have him ranked. And he was going to drop him for Baker, which I don't hate, but I think dropping Kyler is a mistake. But again, the guys who are top 10, Caleb Williams right now is having a massive game as we're talking. Anyone here that you guys want to highlight?
I mean, I think these guys all look pretty good this week. Josh Allen, I mean, not the best matchup, but
Yeah.
that's not really a guy you have the luxury of sitting if you drafted him
And,
early.
and he's supposed to have Khalil Shakir back, and it's looking like he is definitely that number one.
Right. No, Caleb Williams, I had him lined up. I like the Bears matchup against Jacksonville. And like you said, he's going nuts right now. I know people talked about him early, but patience. He's a rookie. Patience.
Well, Jaden Daniels is a rookie, but we can move on past the top 10. All right. I know Jacob has talked about Kirk Cousins and how well he throws the ball. Stroud is interesting to see that they have the arrow down. Maybe it's just because of Nico Collins. What do you guys want to talk about, let's say, between Cousins and Andy Dalton? We'll consider that a group. So who you guys want to talk about?
I would highlight Daniel Jones today. I think this is a really good matchup for Daniel
Yes.
Jones. Cincinnati hasn't played the best defense this season, but they have scored a lot of points, so this is going to be a game where Giants are probably going to be playing catch-up. Also, Jones can add pretty good fantasy value with his legs as well. So I do like playing Daniel Jones this week if you have a guy on a bye.
Baker Mayfield, big time targets that he gets to throw to, and in a game where he can find himself like Dak Prescott behind, where a lot of points are going to be put up early by the Saints, where there's going to be no choice for Tampa but to throw the ball. So I do like Baker Mayfield this week.
I'm actually going to say I'm shocked they have Jared Goff this low. The Cowboys' defense has been poo-poo, and just like to see him at number 17 and all of his weapons are there. I'm not quite understanding that. Same thing with the arrow down on Stroud. I think he can survive without Nico. Anyone else you guys want to talk
Yeah.
about before we go lower?
Yeah, to your point on Goff, also, the Cowboys are probably going to be without 4 contributors today on defense, especially in their pass rush. They're going to be lacking, so Goff should have a lot of time to just throw the ball.
Yeah.
And we sit down to Dalton, huh?
Well, I think he's kind of the break line a little bit,
Okay.
but I mean, if you guys are thinking above, because to me, once we start getting into Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun, Special Rubs, Spencer Rattler, I don't even know if, and Superflex, if I would start Spencer. I mean, anyone down here, maybe Bo Nix?
Maybe. I mean, Joe Flacco, potentially. That's a really tough Titans defense, though, so I wouldn't necessarily want to be rolling the dice with Joe Flacco, but say you had Anthony Richardson and you're scrambling for a starter right now, that might be your best option.
Yeah. How's it going, Mahomes? If you have any questions, pop it in there. Yeah, I would say of this, obviously, if you're super flex, except Spencer Rattler, I'm not starting Spencer Rattler against Tampa Bay because that game's going to be him having to throw the ball probably 30, 40 times. All I see is interceptions.
Yeah, and I think, with rookie quarterbacks, you definitely want to take it slow and see what they do the first week before you just throw them in there, and that could cost you your game if you just throw a huge dud at the QB position.
Exactly. All right. Anyone else you guys want to talk about before we flip over?
I think we're good to move on.
And I
All
think we're
right.
good.
All right. Let's dive into the running back position, guys. I mean, Saquon, Derrick Henry, Bijan. I'm going to talk a little. I'm losing faith in Bijan. I was talking to Jacob and a few other people, especially in dynasty formats. I'm trying to flip Bijan while I think he still has max value. I think he is a okay running back, but I think the talent that we thought he was going to be, some guys just, everyone thinks they're going to be great, gets to NFL. And so that's definitely what I'm thinking when it comes to Bijan is I'd flip him and I would not have him in the top 5 this week.
Yeah, I think especially when you look at the kind of the volume that Algier is stealing in that backfield as well, I think that that's someone that if you are looking for a bye week fill-in or you got a lot of injuries, that Algier is someone you can plug in. But yeah, I agree that Bijan probably is not a top 5 play this week.
No, right. Again, not to knock on Bijan, but yeah, the inconsistency, it shows.
Yeah. Mahomes had a quick question. He's got 2. All right. Well, we'll knock them both out for you. First, would you start Tank Dell or Michael Pittman? Oh man, that's a great question.
I'm going with Tank Dell in that one. Personally.
Yeah, I think Tank Dell is, but I don't hate Pittman. I think we all agree it's Tank
Right.
Dell, but Pittman also with Flacco. I talked about that in our start sit videos. As long as it's Flacco, I like Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. Once they roll back out Richardson, I'm not starting any of the wide receivers on Indy, but that's so I think we all agreed Tank Dell. He also had a quick for someone we'll get to later down here. Would you do Tyrone Tracy or Justice Hill? I'm going to Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he's going to have the lion's share over Justice Hill.
Yeah, I don't think you can trust Justice Hill today. I mean, obviously the Ravens' running attack is good, but you can't really expect Washington to just get blown out to the point where Justice Hill is going to be getting huge volume. Expect them to feed Henry big time in this one.
Yeah. So Tyrone Tracy is who it is. All right, let's get down some more. Definitely can understand why Kamara has the arrow down because he's going to be the whole game plan. So let's call this group Kamara through. What do you guys think? I would say let's just do all the ones that we know are starters. So down to Rico. So we'll do Kamara through Rico. Is there anyone here you guys want to
Two
highlight?
guys I would highlight, both Detroit running backs. I got both of them going.
You're welcome, Mahomes.
Yeah, I got both of them going in daily fantasy today.
Detroit. All right.
Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. I expect this to be a really high-scoring game, and I just don't think the Dallas defense is going to be able to stop that Lions offense today.
I completely agree. The Gibbs Montgomery combo definitely reminds me of we got some drinks. I appreciate it. I'll take that old fashioned. You can set the other one right next to us on the felt. Yeah, thank you. All right. So where I was going, Detroit with Montgomery and Gibbs definitely reminds me of Ingram and Kamara when they first were there together. So I think you just keep rolling with those. Until it looks broken, you roll with those two. The one I want to highlight is Tony Pollard. I will say during draft season, I was not the biggest on Pollard, but it's come back to bite me, and I don't mind saying when I'm wrong. He's definitely the one with Spears being the one, probably number 2. I won't even say 1B, but Pollard's someone that I definitely like starting every week.
Another person. Go ahead.
Josh Jacobs for Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
He's versatile, right? He runs the ball well, catches the ball out of the backfield. They like using him in the red zone. So Josh Jacobs is another person I would highlight this week. Tough matchup with Arizona, but Green Bay's a great team.
Yes, they are.
and two guys also that if you're really in a pinch, one of them I'm starting for sure this week. He's actually a guy that I've hated on for a long time, but it's Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
There we go.
It's a really good matchup for Pittsburgh today. Las Vegas is in shambles. They're missing their top 2 wide receivers today. I think Harris is going to be able to catch the ball a lot. Las Vegas has given up at least 5 catches to running backs in the last 3 weeks, so look at Harris to get involved in the passing game. And also, if you're really, really in a pinch, you can put Jaylen Warren in. It looks like he's going to go as well. As long as he is announced as a go, I would be fine playing him if you really need him.
Look, I like Joe Mixon's matchup with New England.
Yeah.
With Houston. we talked about how their receiving core and they got a young quarterback as well. Rely heavy on the running game, and you can establish the game from there on. And he's a great pickup right now.
Yeah. Got a quick question. What is our predictions for Super Bowl? Oh man, this early, I can't go against my Packers, so I will quickly go Packers and Ravens.
Oh, I'm gonna go half with you. I'll go Packers.
Yes.
I had the 49ers early, but I gotta trust the Packers and prove me wrong. Anybody prove me wrong until you knock them out.
Yeah.
KC, and I have them doing it for the first time ever.
If you
They're going
want
for the
to
three
be the champ, that's right.
So I hear that argument, but I'm going to go kind of basic here. I like the 49ers in the NFC. I know they've got off to a slow start, but I think Ayuk is going to get going here eventually. And I think that team, they have all the weapons on offense. They play good defense as well. I like them as the most complete team in the NFL. And then my Super Bowl prediction before the season was the Baltimore Ravens, so I do like that matchup.
All right. Thank you, Unknown. We got another quick question from Ray Gamer. Start 2 and standard 6 points per TD. We have Deontay Johnson versus Falcons, Wan'Dale Robinson versus Bengals, and Pittman versus Titans, or Jalen Tolbert. My quick 2 is I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. I think he's shown what he could do in Steelerland and now with the Panthers, as long as it's Andy Dalton. The other one I'm probably going with is Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, the Giants have been surprising, and he's been averaging like 10 to 12 targets a game, even with neighbors. So my 2 is going to be Deontay and Wan'Dale. Jacob, who do you have out? Deontay, Wan'Dale, Pittman, and Jalen Tolbert.
I'm going to kind of echo what Josh just said here. I would go with the same 2 guys. I think both these teams are going to have to be passing the ball a lot today. Wan'Dale Robinson would be my number 1 guy out of that list, just because Malik Neighbors is going to be out again this week. He should get 10 to 15 targets. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and he's been very good. They get him the ball in space, and he can definitely separate and make some big plays with his legs. And then Deontay Johnson should have the volume there today. He's probably the most talented receiver on this list, and that's why we'll go with those 2.
All right.
Johnson
Tolbert.
Nice.
Tolbert. You're going Tolbert?
Yes. Yeah.
And who else out of Deontay Johnson?
Johnson.
Wan'Dale. All right,
Yeah,
so
I like it,
so
like
Renee is going Tolbert and Johnson. I mean, I can see that. I'll tell you my quick knock on Tolbert is I think he's in number 3. It's Ferguson and then Cooper, and so that's just my little bit of a knock. But the Cowboys can support 3 wide receivers, so those are the ones we have. Let's quickly finish this up. We talked a little bit about Tyron Tracy. He's definitely someone, if you are in injury trouble, you can start him. He's going to be the number 1 running back this week. I think his floor could be super low. That's the only thing about it. But if he gets going, he can definitely give you running back 2. Anyone else here, guys?
Yeah, a couple guys I don't like this week. I mean, I understand if you have to play him, Zach Moss and Chase Brown. Really tough matchup for the Bengals running game this week. I think they're going to be passing the ball to beat the Giants. And the weakness that the Giants have had versus running backs has been pass-catching running backs. So if you are, for some reason, picking between these 2, I would go with Chase Brown over Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss might have another sluggish week, but definitely keep him on your roster because he'll get back on track.
Somebody I don't like this week is Austin Eckler for Washington. I don't like the matchup.
Rookie quarterback, first game.
Right. So if you have to, go for it. Not a bad person to have on your bench, but I wouldn't trust the matchup today.
Yeah, someone I'm shocked to see so low is Trey Sermon. He showed, I get it, the talent's not there, but with them needing someone to run, well, I just mean he's going to get 15 carries. It's one of those where volume will sometimes just rule the day. So that, down here on Ford, I've been getting a lot of heat. I saw someone, I know Jacob likes Ford, and I saw someone that dropped him today in one of my leagues this morning. I was kind of shocked because I think he does well whenever he gets enough volume. I would say the biggest thing holding the whole Browns team back is Deshaun. Anything you guys want to talk about, these last kind of injury guys to fill in, Roschon and Ford and stuff like that?
Well, just to kind of echo on Ford, this is one of those games where, the Eagles could come out flat. I'm a Browns fan, but it's just one of those games where the Eagles should stomp the Browns. And in those kind of games, the Eagles typically do come out flat. And the Browns in games where they should just get stomped typically do come out and play. So I think Ford could, if they actually get him involved, have a good game. I wouldn't trust him, but if you have to roll the dice, I would. But a guy I really like this week, Tyler Algier, the volume could be there. If they're just stomping Carolina, they're going to get him a lot of touches. He's looked good when he's gotten the ball, and I would definitely be willing to trust him if you have to play him as a flex.
And right now, I wouldn't trust anybody for Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
Stay away from any running back that's
I
made
mean,
in their list. Huh?
Bowers, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Jod. He asked Gibson or Tracy. I think it's Tracy for me. Gibson, just because he's going to be number one against a tough Ravens with a rookie quarterback. I think they're going to key up, stop the run, and make the rookie have to actually pass the ball. So it's Tracy for me.
Right. No, yeah.
Anyone disagree?
No.
Yeah. All right. We are Tracy across the board. Let's quickly move on to the wide receivers, guys. CD Lamb. Tell me if there's anyone you think we need to talk about. CD, Jamar, Reed. I would say the first person we might need to talk about is T. Higgins. Get into this little section. I do like T. Higgins. I had some really interesting information I learned from Next Gen Stats. T. Higgins has been the first read option since he came back, and he's been averaging 10 targets.
Wow. And go with him with a hot Burrow right now.
Exactly.
Right now I'm high on all the Cincinnati receivers, and why not Higgins?
Yeah, I'm definitely not down on Higgins. A guy that I have been kind of down on this season, I was really high on him before the season, is Garrett Wilson.
Yes, that's what I was going to talk about
It's
next.
be a very tough matchup for the New York Jets. Obviously, you probably can't sit. You don't have the luxury to sit Garrett Wilson this week, probably.
Right.
But in daily fantasy, I'm not playing him. I don't think he's worth the budget. I would definitely be leaning towards other receivers farther down the list, save some money there, and then go for the bigger running backs. But Garrett Wilson, I wouldn't expect a huge game this week.
100%. That's who I was actually going to talk about next. I'm shocked he's number 15. I would actually have him, just my personal preference, before the games, because I know Brian Thomas and stuff, but looking at this list, I remember looking at it last night, I have him down here, in the mid-20s. I get it. He's the number one guy with Rodgers, but I'd rather start Deontay Johnson. I'd rather start Marvin Harris.
Right.
I'd start, there's just so many people. Even Boomer Bust, Jameson Williams, I think he's starting to show he is a little more reliable. And part of it, I blame, it's just Aaron Rodgers. He had to go to his dark cave, smoke too much peyote, and he's never actually practiced with these guys.
Yep. And I would even be willing to go with guys like Wan'Dale Robinson this week over Garrett Wilson, especially in daily fantasy, because you're going to get the lower budget.
That's true.
And he's going to have more volume. He's going to have just as much volume as Garrett Wilson, probably.
Matchup I don't like Marvin Harrison Jr.'s matchup today.
Okay. Green Bay has a solid secondary.
Solid
It's true.
secondary.
Yes.
Right. And in a big game, young receiver. I know who his father is, but he's still got to go perform himself, right?
That's right.
So I don't like his matchup today, despite him being a great receiver.
All right. I'm going to highlight someone who still, I think, keeps being criminally disrespected, Darnell Mooney. He was a sleeper before the season started that I picked up in some of my last rounds, and I've been saying for a few weeks now. All right, Josh, we'll get to you about your quick question. But Darnell Mooney, I would say watching those games, I don't know how else to say it other than, at worst, he's the second option. So I really like Mooney, and he's still out there on some waiver wires, which is nuts.
I like Amari Cooper.
All right.
I know
Same.
Watson struggles, but he is targeted so much, and that's what you look for in fantasy football, in my opinion. I'm not looking for your receptions or anything like that. I want targets at my
Exactly.
receiver spots. And he does get double-digit targets, if I'm not mistaken, is where he's flirting with.
Yeah.
Despite Watson's struggles, I
So,
do like him.
yeah. So the question was Bucky or Coomer, the rookie for. Is he the Rams or the? I'm sorry, guys, real quick.
Bucky or Connor?
Yeah.
Is it James Conner?
Are you trying to say James Conner, or are you asking? I'm thinking the rookie that's for the Rams.
Oh.
Okay. Either way, I'm probably going to say Bucky. That would be my pick against whoever it is because Bucky's in number 1 this week, with White being injured and banged up, and I think he's shown that he's a talent that, for the draft. This is one of those things where the draft hurts you. He had good game feel, did terrible at the draft, and so to answer your question, I'm going Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it depends for me. In PPR, I'm rolling with Bucky Irving. In standard or half point, I would go. If it's James Conner, I would go with James Conner. If it's not James Conner, I would go with Bucky.
Yeah, that's anything.
No, and then just to play it safe, we'll go with Bucky since we don't know who Connor
exactly.
is.
Well, which one? Because he didn't. Yeah. Again, no problems with the spelling guy. We're not trying to beat you up. I will say quickly, I want to talk about this before we move on because we're running out of time. Slayton. He's always been kind of Daniel Jones like security blanket, but again, I think do not expect what you saw last week. I have him as a sit actually, but Wicks, I think he got the targets last week. As long as you're getting the targets and dubs, I can see them at least limiting him a little bit when he comes back. So in this little group right here, I definitely think if you need to, I would give Wicks another chance.
And I would go. Sorry.
Nope, you're good.
I would say a guy that on number 43, Trey Tucker. I would be bumping him up. He's very talented, very speedy, tough to guard wide receiver. He's going to be the number 1 option today. Obviously, terrible matchup versus Pittsburgh, who has probably the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league. But if you are in a bind, he's probably available in most leagues, and he's definitely flexible.
And then quickly, Josh Downs. This list was obviously made when they thought Richardson was going to be in. I mean, he's a top 25. He's shown he is Flacco's boy. Start Josh Downs, I think, in all formats, unless somehow you just have superstar.
Basically.
No, right.
Okay.
And, Jerry Jeudy would be the last name I would point out there. If you're really in a bind, he's flexible.
Yeah. I think, there's a feel here when you're in a bind, Rashad, Jeudy. I mean, but those are when you're just in bye week / injury hell.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's quickly go through the tight ends. Bowers, I mean, obviously he has done amazing things. Ferguson, I love Ferguson. Jacob will tell you before the season started, I considered Ferguson my Alamo. Like, he was who I wanted as my last line of defense.
Unforgettable.
Exactly. And because of that, that's been really good for me because I have a lot of Ferguson.
Yeah.
Look, I like Tucker Kraft.
Yep.
He just came up. He got big game last week. For young quarterbacks, they love using the tight end. They love using slot receivers. It's like a safety guard for them. If Jordan Love finds that routine again with Kraft, another big Sunday.
He looked great the end of last year going into it. I mean, my whole fear was that the Packers would fall into the mistake of Musgrave was a second. We have to give our second rounder. Luckily, the Packers are doing the right thing. They don't care. We drafted you. Once you're on the field, whoever's the better one, and that's what the Packers are showing. Go, Pack, go. You got anything?
2 guys I'd point out. Sam Laporta, I like him a lot this week versus Dallas. It's a good matchup. And then Dallas Goedert, the guy I really want to point out. Versus Cleveland. Cleveland really struggles historically versus tight ends. Basically, my whole life as a Browns fan, they haven't been able to guard a tight end. I know A.J. Brown's coming back this week. You're probably getting Smith back this week. So Dallas Goedert does drop down correctly because he's not going to be the number 1 option in that passing game anymore. But I still expect him to have a solid game. If you're playing in tight end premium, you can flex him. You can start him pretty safely if you don't have one of those elite guys as well.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a... Laporta's got to do something. I mean, people spent high draft picks on him, and he's starting to really hurt people. I'll quickly just go into some streamings, so then we can talk about the teams we like for bets. Probably might not be able to make the noon one, but we can give you guys 3 o'clock games. Cole Kmet, he's someone that definitely, the game's over, but in weeks going forward. Same thing, Tyler Conklin, he's looking like he's part of the team as far as getting into the rhythm with Aaron Rodgers. Zach Ertz, to me right now, is kind of like my floor guy. Like last week, I needed a few waiver wire guys, and I went to Ertz. He didn't do well last year, but that's who I'm probably picking up and streaming for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think David Njoku is a little bit underrated this week. He is going to go. I would definitely play him over Mark Andrews.
Is Joe Flacco back? Is that what?
No, but I think they're going to want to get. They're going to be from what I've been hearing this week, the Browns are going to be scrapping some of that shotgun offense, be getting under center, running more play action, and look for Njoku to get involved a little bit earlier in this game. If he's fully healthy to go, I think he's going to definitely outperform some of these other guys in that 14 to 20 range.
All right, you got any tight end you want to talk about?
Real quick, Zach Ertz.
Yes.
I think he's gonna have a nice little game today and a big win.
All right, that's that. There we go. All right, we will quickly go on to the games. You can say whether you like the money line, whether or not you like the points over under, and we'll quickly go in through this. So we have the Packers. Let me zoom out a second, guys. So we have the Packers versus the Cardinals. First one that is up on this docket. I'm liking the Packers. I Cardinals can put up points, so I'm probably just touching the Packers and the money line, and then probably the over under at 47.
Yep, I like the Packers to win the game. I think if you're getting frisky, you could take the 5.5 for the Cardinals, but I do like the over as well in this one.
I like the over and take the points for the Packers.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
There you go. Texans Patriots. I'm probably taking the Texans and giving up the 6.5.
Yes.
I mean, that's probably the only thing I'm touching. The over under worries me because the Patriots, how bad they might be.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Drake May to give him a spark this week, but I'm still not going against the Texans.
I would go with the under.
All right, the under. All right. Next, we got Bucky. Sorry, not Bucky. Well, it is Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
But Bucky, part of the Buccaneers and the Saints. I think it's the Buccaneers, and I think it's not even close with 3.5 with Rattler. So I would do the Buccaneers and take the spread.
I'm gonna agree on the money line. I like the Buccaneers on the money line, but I do like the Saints at 3.5.
All right.
Buccaneers take it and then go under.
All right, I'm going to mainly let Jacob talk about the next one. You got the Browns and the Eagles.
Like I said, I mean, this is a game where I think the Eagles historically don't perform well in these kind of games, but I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt coming out of the bye. I like the Eagles on the money line, and I like the Browns to cover the spread.
Yeah, Browns and 7.5. That's a lot. So that would be what I'm most interested in. Colts Titans with Flacco. I probably like the Colts and 2.5. I think they're giving you a little bit of free money here once it's Flacco.
No, I agree. I like the Colts.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I like the Titans. I think they have an elite defense, and I think that they are going to be able to run the ball in this one. The Colts defense looked pretty bad last week. I like the over actually in this one as well.
All right. Last one before we can talk a little bit more on the next slate. All right, we have the Commanders. Glad you're back, Mahomes. So we have the Commanders and the Ravens. I mean, the Commanders have come on. I'm shocked that they're giving +7 to the Commanders. I'm probably taking the Commanders and the +7. I would even debate taking the Commanders and the money line. And if you want to do like a little 3 or 4 parlay, that'll pay big. I can definitely see doing the Commanders with a parlay.
Give me the Ravens. I think the Ravens are the
Money line or
maybe
-7?
the best team in football. I do like the Ravens to win this game by a touchdown. It's going to be close, but I wouldn't touch the spread necessarily, but I do like the Ravens on the money line.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't touch the spread, but I do like the Commanders.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Down games, we can chat a little bit more. Okay, everything should be locked up, guys. Good luck in fantasy. You can always ask us stuff. We'll talk about a few of the games that we have left. So we have the Chargers versus Broncos. I'm actually very interested in this game. I'll tell you why. Harbaugh. I knew when he was coming back that the Chargers, I actually took the over-under on wins when we were in Vegas when I was there recently. I got them at 7.5, and with Harbaugh, he kind of reminds me of Tomlin. He just finds a way with less talent, and so I actually like the Chargers and the money line.
Josh, I think we're on all the opposite games this week.
All right.
I do like the Broncos on the money line for the upset this week. To your point, I mean, Harbaugh's a great coach. I also think Sean Payton is a criminally underrated head coach as well. I think he's one of the top coaches that we've seen in the NFL. I know that he's struggled with the Broncos, but he's got them playing good ball the last few weeks. That defense is elite. I mean, if you look at the over-under, only at 35.5. Not expecting to be a lot of points in this game. I think the Broncos will grind it out at home.
No, I agree. I think the Broncos do find a way to figure out the Chargers and win the game.
All right. Let's go on to the Steelers and the Raiders. Sorry, guys. Jacob had to reload me with another old-fashioned. Steelers and Raiders, I think it's Steelers. I'm probably even giving up the 3. I'm shocked it's not like 5.5.
Right. Right.
So I think you take the Steelers and the points and you run away. Over under scary because Tomlin likes to win games like 15-12. So I'm probably just taking the Steelers and the spread. Anyone?
I mean, the Raiders are just in disarray right now. I actually like the Steelers by double digits in this game.
So you might tease it up a little bit,
I would think about 5.5, 6, maybe even 7.5.
get that better payout.
And then would you go over?
Oh,
I just don't know if I trust the Raiders to score any points in this game. To be honest,
and it's not that. And Tomlin's okay winning 15-7. Like
right,
he's not
right,
gonna. He's
right.
going to run the clock out. Yeah, he's not going to. He's not going to give them the chance to get back in the game because he trusts that he can just grind it out.
No, that's true. That's true.
I mean, that's why he's been so successful, because he makes the right decisions. He makes the right plays. To kind of bring the poker analogy and the gambling analogy in, he just makes the right play, the play
That's right.
that you should make, and that's why the Steelers have been so successful year after year after year.
Consistent.
Exactly.
Very consistent.
All right. Probably what is the game for the rest of the slate we'll talk about? Lions versus Cowboys. I mean, the points total is 52 and a half. I'm probably going the over because I can definitely see this being a 27-32. I think you go over. I personally, just because people ask me, well, you're a Packers fan, you going for Cowboys? No. My hatred of the Cowboys is so deep. Go Lions.
I like the Lions too, and and take the spread.
Okay.
I do think they're going to expose the Cowboys like a lot of other teams do.
Yes.
And unlike in the past, the Cowboys just won't have enough time to even match that spread. So Lions big today, and that's because I grew up a Cowboys fan.
I think the Lions are going to annihilate the Cowboys today. I don't think this game is going to be particularly close. I do think the Cowboys are a good team. I just think the Lions are one of those top-tier teams up there with the Chiefs, up there with the Ravens. They do have one loss, but I think this is a team that's going to end up with 12 or 13 wins.
I personally think if the Cowboys do, make some points, it'll be like, which week was it where they were getting annihilated through the first four quarters, and then all of a sudden they came back.
Last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I had to hear people at work and stuff asking me, and they're like, "Oh, did you see we almost came back?" It's like, dude, the game was over. Those are beyond garbage time points.
Right.
I mean, for fantasy purposes, if it's a player you had like CD, awesome, Dak, awesome.
Right.
But like for the love of a game, they took their foot off the gas, and it did almost bite them. I'm forgetting what game it was. It almost bit that team. But overall, like that's the only way I see the Cowboys is if it's a late kind of comeback. I will say if that happens and it's too soon, that's probably how they beat the Lions. Same way the 49ers. So the Lions had it. They kind of took their foot off the gas, and then it starts snowballing. Now, I remember messaging people in that playoff game going, they got to stop the bleeding, and they're a young team, and you could tell they did not know what to do as far as how to stop it once that,
And that is the Lions' Achilles heel is sometimes they can get over-aggressive, make aggression mistakes where they should kick a field
Dan
goal
Campbell.
and go for 4th and 8 or something, and that can come back to bite them, but I don't think it will this week.
Bite those kneecaps off, Dan. All right, Falcons, Panthers. I mean, I don't think anyone will disagree. It's the Falcons. I'm probably, I could see going over, but Falcons defense been a little sneaky. I'm probably just going Falcons in the money line because I can see the red BB gun keeping up with.
Yeah, he can keep up with them for a little bit of time. But I do see the Falcons with the money line. Overall, they're just going to be a more consistent team today.
Yeah, I like the Falcons in this game. I like the under as well.
Yeah. Last game, we have the Bengals and the Giants. I mean, the Bengals, this is getting close to do or die. They're getting really lucky that the North, their division, breaking up a little for you guys. They're getting a little lucky that division, no one got off to a super hot start. The Browns, the Ravens.
Right.
Who am I forgetting in your division? Steelers. So, but that's the only thing saving the Bengals right now. And so they are nearing that kind of do or die. So I expect them to come out. And their talent, they should overwhelm the Giants. The Giants are surprisingly scrappy, but that's just my opinion is I'm taking the Bengals and probably even the -3.5.
Yeah, I would take the -3.5. I do like the Bengals. They're a talented roster, talented quarterback. They cough up a lot of points. That's the only catch, right? And that will catch you in games like they did last week. So I do like the Bengals. and I take the money line.
All right,
Yeah,
Jacob.
I mean, man, I don't think the Bengals are that good of a team, to be honest with you guys.
I mean, it's the
and
offensive power.
I think they are one of the top 5 offenses in the league. I think that defense is really, really bad. In terms of the Giants, they've actually been one of the surprise teams in the league. I actually think they have a really solid roster, really good team. In primetime, is Daniel Jones going to show up, though? I think it's the question. And I would lean towards the Bengals to win, and I'll take the Giants on the spread.
Yeah, I'll just talk a little alternative universe. If Neighbors was there,
Yeah, exactly.
I might take the Giants for the upset
would
with
too, yeah.
Neighbors there. But unfortunately, Neighbors isn't there, and to me, that just makes it where the Bengals have the superior offense.
I completely agree on that.
All right, guys. Juan, thank you so much. We have Renee with the side bet here. Jacob, part of the DGL team. I'll show you where we're at. It's a great place. Give them a little shout out. So we are at TCH Social. Come out here, play some poker. As you know, if you follow our channel, we all love playing poker and stuff. And Jacob comes here quite a bit, so you can probably run into him. It's a fabulous room. And we will get back to you guys next week. Good luck, everyone.
Thanks, guys.